Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate Final Fantasy podcast. I am your host, Caleb Schweiss.
I am Joe.
And today, guys, we have a real treat for you. We are finally reviewing Heroes of Mana, the real-time strategy game supposedly developed by Brownie Brown, but really by Satan himself. So that's what we brought you guys today. And I mean, there's
Ishii.
two. Yeah, Ishii. I didn't realize that was Satan, or that was Japanese for the dark one. But apparently it is. So two reasons to celebrate today. One, finally reviewing this game that I beat like easily over a month ago now.
Fuck, has it been that long?
Yeah, I beat it a few weeks before you.
You beat it. Oh, yeah, you beat it like 2 weeks before me.
Yeah.
Shit.
And you beat it like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I was like, well, we should probably burn through that Yuffie real fast, Joe.
So, we gotta burn through that Yuffie as fast as we can. In my head, when I came here this morning, I'm like, did I play a game called Heroes of Mana? Like, my memory of it is just like so distant, and like, it's one of those things. I've heard that like when you're traumatized, sometimes it can be so bad that you like your brain just like covers it up for you, like you forget.
Yeah, you block it out.
You block it out.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised that was the case. But now that we know that it's been over a month since we played this game,
you feel better about it?
I feel better about like not remembering it very well.
Well, that's good because.
But I think you're going to jog my memory with your right up there.
The problem with it is the longer we go without reviewing it, the less I hate it. Because now I'm done. You know what I mean? So like the hate was very powerful while I was playing it, and then when I finished it, a good chunk of the hate like floated away, and I was like, all right, well, it's over. So whatever. But the longer you go past that initial hatred period, which was the entire playthrough, the less I hate it. So, like, that was the risk that we ran.
That is the risk. Maybe we should mix it up with that time when we screamed about it on Nude Clan for about 20 minutes.
Yeah, just pull that into the post episode.
Yeah,
for you guys. We could do that.
For you guys who want a treat of the Nude Clan. That's actually not a bad idea.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Maybe after the credits. Maybe after the final song, you guys... Yeah, let's just say we'll do it.
Let's do it. Yeah, fuck
we'll
it.
Just pull that in.
We can do whatever we want.
We can. Fuck. I forgot.
Yeah.
This is a podcast.
That's right. This is Freedom 101 right
Freedom
here.
of expression 101,
That's right.
Exactly. So finally done with the Mana series, which...
Thank God.
You're saying thank God, like we didn't start it going like, oh, this is nice. This is a nice little break.
Yeah, good change up. Yeah.
Ooh, and then we played Children of Mana.
Yeah.
And then we played it was Legend of Mana was the first one
yeah.
that was like for me.
It's such a cool idea, but it's like it's just a nothing game. And they knew that too. When you read the development history, they're like, well, we just had to put it out. Like we had so many ideas, and it's like, yeah, it's one of those things where usually things like that never come to be, and they're just talked about like, oh man, it's like what you joke about with like the script that's never written is the best script. That's kind of like what that game would have been if they wouldn't have released it. Like, well, it was the coolest idea ever, but they actually just released it anyway, and it wasn't fucking cooked all the way.
No, and then we had Children of Mana, which was
boring. And the same thing over and over.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun playing with you, though. But.
And then we had Dawn of Mana, which at the time was the worst piece of shit I'd played in a long time.
Yeah, it was bad.
Pretty fucking bad game. I'm sure it's slightly better on a CRT TV because
it is.
Yeah, that action stuff was real difficult.
The conversion,
on the HD television.
Yeah, the converter thing going into HD, that it looks like shit.
It not only looks like shit, but you also get that small microsecond delay, which matters.
It really matters when you're fighting giant, stupid trees.
Yeah, I'm starting to realize I've had so many problems like with little action games in the past, and I'm like, I think it's because I was using it on an HD television. I just wasn't I guess I just wasn't anticipating that the small lag was such a problem, but I think it is.
I think it's probably worse for you too because you're doing a plasma.
It's also a plasma, yeah.
Whereas I've always used a.
I got a late gen plasma, so it's a really good plasma. It's not like the older plasmas, but
yeah, I've always had the what is it, HDR or whatever the other one,
LCD screen.
LCD. That was my old one, and I noticed this when we were playing. When I did the Final Fantasy X fucking like chocobo shit for you.
Yeah.
Because I did it that day for me, and then I went over to yours on your plasma, and I couldn't do it. And like there's something about like the visuals and the refresh rate, something was wrong. And so then I plugged yours into my TV. And it looks better on yours, but like mine is like, it's like crisper. Something about it, like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't look better.
There is something there. I bought the plasma. Here's the thing,
for
guys.
Movies, yeah.
Priority number one, a movie should look like as close to what a movie looks like in the movie theater. So I got, at the time, now they're not the best TVs now, but they still were the best TVs for movies. So, like, the 4Ks were just coming in, and, like, the LCDs and LCDs were going away, and then the LEDs were there. But LEDs have this like nasty look to them. Really gross. Great for sports. And that's about it. Watching sports games on HD live is the only thing an LED screen back then was good for.
Yeah.
Now they have OLED, which is really good.
Yeah. It is. I like it.
So I got to get one of those. But still, I have the plasma right now. And the 1080p plasma.
Yeah.
So there is that. Not only is there that delay, but then the plasma is like a little bit slower too. So I think the it's all kind of like going in there and just slowing me down.
Yeah, and then the converter, because we have a little converter box HDMI to red, white, yellow.
Yeah, for
and
streaming.
that slows it
Streaming's
down.
going to slow it down a little bit. And then the HDMI cords, we probably didn't get the highest speed HDMI cords. So there's a million things that could have made Dawn of Mana a slightly better game.
Yeah.
But you played it on CRT TV.
Yeah, it was still pretty bad.
And it was still bad. So screw that game. Really thought it couldn't get any lower. Really thought it could not get any lower than Dawn of Mana.
See, I feel like every time we think something, we get the opposite. You know, like I remember back in the day, I don't know if I said this on the show or if I just said it to you. I was like, I think you're going to enjoy Dirge. And then I played Dirge, and I'm like, I didn't even enjoy Dirge. I was like, God, this thing is a clunky bitch. Like, holy hell. And then I was like, you know what? I'm looking forward to Heroes of Mana because I played, you know, as traumatizing as that fucking Revenant Wings was, it was a nice breath of fresh air at the time because
the last two fights
were insane.
And the story is awful.
Yeah.
But there were still moments in Revenant Wings that were like just kind of brainless fun.
Yeah, yeah. And I was like, you know, it's kind of fun to break it up with this new type of game. And I think Mana took that to the extreme. We're like, you know what? Let's make a new type of game. Okay, let's make another new type of game.
Every game.
Let's make another new type of game. And then the RTS, this was always one that I kind of, because I knew early on it was an RTS game. And I was like, oh, cool. We'll have another Revenant Wings situation maybe where it's maybe not as brutal, but like it's another RTS.
The whole of Mana has been... I mean, the last two have been horribly painful, but up until Dawn of Mana's like final section, everything had been pretty fucking easy.
Yeah.
But then we had Dawn of Mana, and that was not fucking easy. That is not an easy fucking game. And then let's follow that up with
Heroes
of Shit. Heroes of Shit. I can't think of another title that would actually be able to underline how bad this fucking game is.
Yeah, it is brutal.
Because let's think. Story, horrible. a horrible. You can't even follow it. There's 90 million people involved in this game. You have no idea what the fuck's going on. The ship doesn't even go in a linear direction. When it's on the map screen and it's going to the next part of the story, it's like, well, let's fuck off to this end of the planet. Let's fuck off to this end of the planet.
Yeah.
So you don't even have like a visual representation of what the fucking conflict is in this game.
Yeah.
So story, no. I'm sure you're going to explain the story, but fuck the story.
Yeah. And then speaking of visuals, if you deign to press the L or R button and you think your ass is going to be able to navigate that map, you've got another thing coming. It's like, oh, looks like there's something hiding behind here. Let's change the camera angle. And then the camera angle like changes your control scheme, and then you're
you're stuck in a hard isometric.
Yeah, and then for some reason, like every time that happens, I just start like Planet Caravan from like Black Sabbath starts playing in my mind, like we sail. Do. Like I'm just floating off into space, like just fucking no control. It's like,
and there are, I will get into the gameplay. Don't worry about it. The gameplay on par with Crystal Bearer's bad.
Yeah. Oh man.
Only in the RTS version of that, and then unnecessary difficulty. And also, it doesn't even, like, within the RTS genre, it is fucking with you. So, the pain.
Yeah.
The pain is real with Heroes of Mana.
Yeah. Man, it is bad. The reason why we keep calling it that, too, by the way, is one of the listeners kindly made us an ultimate list of all the games we had to beat. And he put like a weird
put an apostrophe
in a weird place. And so ever since then, we've been like just jiving at it personally. And I wanted to title the name of the episode. Here's what I titled.
It was either on this. It was on like one of the UFF episodes.
I think so. Yeah. Well, here's what I titled the write up that I made for it. It was HEROE apostrophe S double apostrophe ES OF and then MA apostrophe ANA. So it's Heroes of Mana.
Heroes of Mana. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, it makes it sound like eccentric, but really it's still just a pile of shit.
Like I said before, I'm on a Facebook group called "Oh shit, here comes an S. Better add an apostrophe."
Yeah,
it was like unnecessary apostrophes. People just like clip it, and I saw one last night, dude. It said directors talking about Stanley Kubrick in the thumbnail of a video. Mm-hmm. And it was like just a bunch of clips of directors talking about Stanley Kubrick, like famous directors. It said directors, like with an apostrophe S. So directors on. What is a director's on? What is that? What is there on?
Yeah.
God.
I know, it's funny. And it's really not that, to me, it's not that hard. But like sometimes I'll fuck it up. But
the apostrophe is possessive unless it's.
Yeah.
It's the only one that's the exception.
I just like being able to, at the end of my last name, I don't have to put...
You do put Schweiss's. You put an apostrophe S.
I don't have to, though.
If it was your whole family, the Schweiss family...
Yeah, but
then you'd put the apostrophe after the S without an extra S.
I don't think you have to put an extra S if it ends with an S.
Yes, you do.
I thought that was the rule.
Yes, you fucking do.
I thought that was the rule. Maybe I'm confusing it with like German grammar.
You put parents because it's multiple people. And parents something. It's an apostrophe after the S without an S after the S, or without after the apostrophe.
I always thought you could just leave it hanging.
Oh my god.
Well, what's the leave it hanging then?
It's when it's plural. That's when it's leave it hanging. Only when it's plural.
I thought it was
Guys,
possessive,
go
too.
get your fucking grammar books out.
I thought it was possessive,
I've
too.
had to fucking, like, pull this shit out and be like, no, this is wrong.
Well.
I've had to learn a few of them, too, so it's not like...
I mean, luckily, I don't refer to myself in the third person very often, but I guess it would be the same if I did it for someone else's.
It depends on the sentence structure, too. It's not always in there.
Well, let us know if our grammar is wrong.
Jesus Christ!
Let us know in the YouTube comments link if we're retarded.
All right. You're wrong, French. Okay, let's get it started.
All right, so Heroes of Mana is a 2007 real-time strategy title for the Nintendo DS. It was developed by Brownie Brown, who wrote more like Shit Brown, and Square Enix, and published by Square Enix.
Brownie Brown, we make shit games.
Brownie Brown would eventually be bought up by Nintendo, becoming a part of their eventual Nintendo Entertainment Planning and Development Team, a super conglomerate of studios that keeps Nintendo's games flowing. This is officially the 9th game in the Mana series, which is fucking dumb because they count all the remakes, reboots, all the versions, because Mana, I don't know why they do that. But they do. And the 4th entry in the World of Mana subseries, whose last entry, Dawn of Mana, came 3 months prior. That's a great sign. Much like these last 3 Mana games, Square completely diverged from the original RPG playstyle to create a completely different experience. Hell incarnate. Let's talk development. I feel like whenever I like have a game I really don't like, I feel like I'm becoming like Kotaku with these things. I just fucking like rage on it.
You'll become that which you hate.
I become like a journalist. Yeah, I become that which I despise. Which is as fitting for this game. So as we know, Square Enix became highly interested in polymorphic content around 2003, unfortunately for us, otherwise known as dragging their name and subsequently the names of their IPs through the dirtiest of mud. The World of Mana project began in 2006, and this title is officially the end of that project, thank God, and the end of our Mana playthrough for this podcast. Though Square did celebrate the 30th anniversary of Mana by announcing that a Mana game is being developed, Ishii decided to go with an RTS-style game to offer a spin on the original formula, as well as introduce Japanese players to RTS as a
he's
whole.
always stuck in that formula.
Yeah, he's stuck in the formula of no formula, which is apparently fairly obscure in Japan. He also wanted to satisfy RTS players by giving them the title on an unconventional system, the DS, for good reason. There's a reason why the DS is not a conventional game system for the fucking RTS playstyle, and that reason is it doesn't work. It's too small. There's not enough space. The timing. They decided to go through the DS due to the multiplayer functionality as well as the ability to touch the game. They really should have given you like a fucking like stress ball that came like as one of those little rabbit things or whatever the hell they are. And you just like, I want to touch it. I want to squeeze the life out of this fucking game. So yeah, he wanted to touch the game. Apparently the team had a hard time developing the title for the DS and actually started over at one point. This would be one of those signs of things to come. Ishii claimed that the Mana games are only thematically connected, but this one is definitely a prequel to Trials of Mana, featuring the same world map and even the parents of characters from Trials of Mana. Hawkeye's mom is Falcon, for example. There's a couple other family members in there. That's the one that I noticed, though. The soundtrack was composed by Yoko Shimomura, who worked on Legend of Mana, and, of course, Final Fantasy XV has become like a mainstay at Square. A 49-track soundtrack was released in April of 2007 with a 2-hour and 24-minute runtime, which is kind of crazy. But
is it?
Yeah.
Is it that crazy that there's that much music in there?
I mean, I guess not, considering how long it took us to beat this fucking thing. But that seems like a little much for
an entire day of my life.
Yeah, gone for all time.
24 hours.
Yeah. You beat it like 12 minutes faster than me or some shit.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about the plot. So, the game opens up.
Sorry, hold on. Let's stop on the development real quick here. Ishii, who in the last couple iterations of Mana has been really obsessed with bouncies.
Yeah.
And bounciness, decided to make something where there's no collision whatsoever.
Yeah.
Interesting.
His obsession with elasticity has ended. No more.
Interesting choice. It seems like every thing in this game has a reverse magnetic pull on it.
Yeah.
Push, I should say.
What if the ultimate bounce is no bounce?
Or maybe it is actually him keeping it because they bounce so far away from where you want them to go.
Oh, that's
it's like
true.
It's a slow motion bounce the fuck away from where you put your fucking cursor down and said, go here.
Yeah, he heard the newfangled version of the word, like the newfangled meaning of the word bounce. Like, let's bounce, let's go.
Bounce.
They will bounce
Pogo.
Yeah, they just bounce away from where you ask them to go.
That's right. Also, the DS as an RTS platform. Our RTS is known for a God's eye view or a minuscule view.
Definitely a God's eye
Definitely
view.
a God's eye view. So, would you think that maybe God wanted to look through a single-eyed telescope upon the field of battle in this situation?
I would think no, considering that I am God in this situation.
Yeah.
And I really didn't like the zoom at all.
And maybe the fact that you can't move the camera outside of 4 different angles, that may be a small problem.
Yeah.
With the DS double screen, which one screen, of course, we must put for the entire, not a mini map, a maxi map.
Yeah.
A maxi map so that you can't see shit on the little screen.
You know
what's the game is taking place in.
What's so offensive about the map,
the whole game
screen, yeah, is like you can't click on the map above because that's not an active screen, and you can't okay, I want to go look at what's over here. You have to fucking move the joystick over to that section of the map on the map, the screen that you're playing on. So really, the fact that the one above is a map is just it's like a token map. I don't know how else to put it. It's a map and things interact on the map, but you can't just tap on a spot and be like, oh, I want to go right here to the map. No, you gotta you hear the horrifying sound of and your guy's dying and you're just your asshole clenches up and you're like, oh fuck, where is he? And you see him and you're hauling ass with the little joystick and you're trying to move over to him, and then you find him and then just in time to watch him get cut down by 30 enemies. It's so unintuitive.
What a choice.
Yeah, what a choice.
What a choice, EGE.
Thank you very much for your bold decisions.
Yeah. Go ahead. Story.
All right, so
tell me what this game was actually about, because I don't actually know.
Yeah. So the game opens up with a reconnaissance mission by a group of pedant soldiers into the Beastman Kingdom of Ferolia.
Pedant files.
Your captain, Yurchel, and you get shot down by Ferolian ships. Once you crash land and fight your way through the Beastmen, you run into a group of pedant soldiers who then attack you. The party realizes that their mission was never to spy, but a direct attack against Nerval. You're captured and brought before the king of Nerval, whose kingdom is brutally attacked by yours shortly after. This causes your group to mutiny and save the king of the Ferolians, Gauser. You then learn that your main character, Roger, although I just called him Roget.
Roget, Roger,
yeah.
Rogette.
Yeah.
I don't know how to say his fucking name. I think it's Roger.
I would assume Roger.
It's Roget, Roger.
Remember in the Heracles when we were playing the fucking
Heracles?
Yeah, it was Heracles, yeah. I just called it Heracles. It was in that fucking shit that chased me, Ashley Riot game. A Vagrant Story, yeah.
Vagrant Story.
I was like, man, am I just stupid with names?
Dude Kime.
Yeah, I just do whatever. It's just first glance, and that's just what it is, I guess. So, Roger, you're friends with the king of Petta, Enith is his name, a man who has been driven mad and has launched something called Operation Psy to take over the world. And with it's PSI though.
How dare you? Oh, it's not Operation C?
No, sadly. And with over 2 billion views on YouTube, I think Psy has taken over the world.
That's PSY, I think.
It is, yeah. This sparks your journey to the other nations of the world.
Thanks for reminding me of Gangnam Style.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
To rally them against PETA. So we get some interesting backstory with Falcon and her father, who sided with PETA basically out of spite and agreed to raise her son Hawkeye as an orphan child, thus duly fulfilling his duty as a grandfather to the child and spurning Falcon for her shame. That was the only interesting part of the story I found. But mostly this stuff is kind of boring. So we do discover that Enith keeps installing these black mirrors in the countries PETA conquers, and that they are corrupting people somehow. We can't have a mana game without the elemental spirits, though. Thank God for these guys.
Somehow.
The group begins a quest to find and recruit each of these spirits who are deeply disturbed by the mirrors. Eventually, you fight against Roger's twin brother, the Mirage Bishop, and discover that he has been corrupted by Asina. In a true Red Rum moment, Asina is revealed to be the ancient witch, Anise. Which is so dumb.
I forgot about that shit. Oh!
Yeah, there's like, we've been calling her Asina all this time. We're like, no, it's actually the ancient witch, Anise. Like, oh no, it's backwards, and it's the mirror. Do you get it? Like, oh, I got it.
That's how fucking dumb it is.
Yeah. It was planting these mirrors to summon an evil for her to consume. Actually, I think she was summoning this game. We find out from the most boring character model in the entire game, the Holy Oracle, or whatever the fuck his name is, who discovers that Anise is trying to become a goddess. The party journeys to the Mirage Castle to confront Anise, only to find her completing her task. The dark energy kills your brother and Enith, and Anise fuses with the voluptuous Baxilios of the Great Tits, a general who has been dogging you the whole game, and becomes the goddess of doom, though she looks more like a horny artist sex slave to me. You know what I'm talking about in that final battle? She's like down on her knees, like looking like she's about to, she's got like her arms chained behind her back, her ankles tied. I'm like,
Schweiss, what are you saying?
Am I supposed to like fight this thing, or am I supposed to try to go put my dick in it somehow?
It literally is telling you, go fuck this up.
Yeah, I'm like, all right. So you fight and defeat the goddess, thus ending the war, and everyone returns home.
Oh, yeah. And believe me, that whole time you're not following anything.
You're
trying to get through the cutscenes as fast as possible because they're literally in your way.
The thing that I liked in the beginning, I thought it was cool. This is the one compliment I have about the story. I thought it was cool how you start out and you're enemies with this Beastman tribe, and like you guys are kind of at war with each other, and then you realize that you're trying to exterminate them, and the whole time you thought you were just kind of defending yourself, and then you sort of you guys kind of mutiny and say, no, we're not going to go along with that. I thought that was kind of interesting, and then you end up rescuing the king as his whole kingdom is about to be destroyed. And so that was when I messaged you, and I was like, oh, I don't mind the story. When I was in Disney World, I was like, it's not that bad. And then slowly over time, it just became worse and worse, and I was less and less interested.
Really? Because when I started the game, and I couldn't follow a conversation because there were 12 different characters that would pop up on the screen and say different things, I was like, I'm out.
Yeah.
It was like 11 speaking parts in the first cutscene, and I'm like, I don't know who's who. I didn't even know Roger was my main character until the game was like, don't kill Roger.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Like, what about the pilot? I thought the pilot was the main man.
Everybody's fucked without the pilot, but I guess he comes back up.
Yeah, he can get back to life. But yeah, that's true. Yeah, I didn't realize Roger was the main necessarily in the first mission. It was like mission 3 or so.
It's just a guy. It's just one of the 12 people on my roster that I can use.
Yeah, and I was like, there's a million of these guys.
And I'm like, there's a war. And like between each of the levels, which of course there's 27 fucking levels in this game. and they're all really long.
Yeah, we're talking like Final Fantasy Tactics levels long.
Oh, yeah, that long.
Easily, yeah.
And twice as many characters. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Twice as many.
If you think Tactics had too many, you got something coming with this game.
So, in between the chapters and in the middle of the chapters as well with those long cutscenes, don't worry. It'll have like a long-ass cutscene. They'll go to a new place on the map. Of course, it's the entire world map. And once again, like I said earlier, or did I say that earlier? I don't remember if that was on our last recording or not. We restarted after about 2 minutes. You pull up the map, and then the ship goes to a random spot on the map. There's no like linear progression of what's going on in the story. It doesn't tell you like the empires or whatever involved or anything like visually. There's no visual representation for you to like have like some knowledge of what the fuck is going on in this game.
Yeah.
And the ship is just like, okay, now I'm going to go to here, and now I'm going to go to here. And it's like you're bouncing around. If you were in a worldwide conflict between 3 nations and you were bouncing around from like Australia to Sweden to South America, like that's how fucking crazy the progression of like the visual conflict is. So you can't even like track the story that way. You can't track it at all. I was fucking lost immediately, and I didn't care. And a couple levels into the game, I was real frustrated. So
yeah, and not to like throw too much more like fuel to the fire, but when you're doing that, like you do the little like, oh yeah, let's do the next mission, and then it takes like a minute sometimes to like actually watch them fly to the next area, and I was like, why do you even take the time to do this? Like, I don't. The way, like you said, the setup for this world, like, I have no idea where the fuck everything is. I have no idea. Like,
I've only played a million other Mana games and still have no idea what the fuck's going on.
Exactly, yeah. And it's like, this is the world of Trials. And I'm like, I don't fucking... You can't control it, so why does it matter where we're going? And, like, I don't know. It's just a pain in the ass. And the fucking... You do kind of get out of the story pretty fast. And none of the there's too many characters, like so many things in this. I don't know why everyone feels the need to have a million characters in their thing. But like, it's just too many. Like, there's too many, and you can't grow attached to anything, and you can't grow attached to any of them. It's just, are they useful? Yes or no? And like, that's the ones you like.
This one's ranged.
Yeah, this one's ranged. I got 2 ranged.
Oh, I can't kill the ranged on this level for some reason. Okay.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Like, it's. I don't know. Yeah, that's the only benefit that the characters really have. The story's pretty standard.
I don't even know if it is. I
thought the mirror thing was kind of a cool idea. It's like a mirror world. I didn't really understand how it works, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's kind of some alternate dimension. But at the same time, the weird thing, and that's why I brought in the movie Us, is like, the brother, it is your brother. But, like, he's not. So I don't understand how the fuck that works. Like, is he actually not your brother? Or are you brothers? And he's like, somehow you got separated at the carnival when you were a kid or whatever. And like, but I think it was, I can't remember if this game did this or if I'm just thinking of the movie Us. But I feel like he was supposed to be the one that was out. Or maybe I am.
Remember, they have, like, the hand-holding thing across America. You know, that part of Heroes of Mana.
Yeah. Yeah, just like that.
Just like, and the rabbits? You remember the rabbits in Heroes of Mana?
Of course, yeah. They're those rabbits.
And like the underground lair?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah, you remember that part.
Just like that movie.
Yeah, it's really similar to that movie.
Yeah, dude.
There are rabbits.
There are.
Shit.
There's no chain, though. Chain across the land. And sadly, that chick from, that really weird-looking chick from... Handmaid's Tale isn't in this game either. I don't think. I mean, she could be. She could have been one of those.
Elizabeth Moss?
Yeah.
Oh.
She's funky looking to me.
Think so?
Yeah. Handmaid's Tale, they make her look really weird. Yeah, the story sucks.
The story blows ass.
Way too many people.
Too many characters. You can't follow them. You don't have any context. It doesn't introduce you into the world, which, believe it or not, this isn't a linear this is not a linear series, so even like whatever little story you could have held on to the other terrible Mana stories, you're not going to be able to bring it into this one unless you like have an insane memory. So
yeah, and it's weird. Like the tree, it's this one's really different in a lot of ways. You know, like they are trying to kill the mana and like the tree and shit, but like it doesn't seem as connected at all. Even though it's supposed to be a prequel to Trials, but it, like he said, it's an unofficial prequel. Like these spinoffs aren't really part of the main series, but like it almost doesn't matter. Even the ones that are part of the main series, it's like the last one we played doesn't really feel like the other ones, the first three. So I don't know. This series is kind of a clusterfuck, honestly. It's just all over the fucking place. Has no idea what it wants to be. It just has like staples in it that aren't really that interesting. Like the fucking summons. Like, yeah, they're in most of them, but like I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck about any of these guys. You know, like they're not interesting to me. Like their accents in the last one were fucking painstaking, and that's all I can think of when I'm playing this one is like their shitty accents when they come up. And I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah, dog shit.
Yeah.
I mean, at least from my perspective, not being able to understand it or follow it or care. So,
yeah.
Dog shit.
I thought it was interesting that the Benevodons in this one were kind of good.
Benevoda.
Yeah. Benevoda. I thought that was kind of cool because those are kind of the bad guys later on in the series. I think. I mean, fuck, I don't even know anymore. I thought Flammy.
I don't know anything anymore.
Yeah.
What's a Final Fantasy?
Exactly. I thought Flammy in this one was a little too flamey.
Oh, you said it.
Yeah, he's just way over the top, dude. And I was like, there were a couple of moments, yeah, where I was just like, oh, come on. Like, why did you put that there? Why do you got to do that? What are we doing here?
Yeah, that Flammy, the dragon that's on our logo at the moment. Although we're gonna change that over very soon.
Very soon, yeah.
Yeah, he's got a little bit of extra. Oh shit! Who's that singer who died? David Bowie. He's got a little extra David Bowie in him.
Yeah, more David Bowie. That is true. He does kind of look like David Bowie.
Yeah,
it's reminiscent, like the white hair and the other stuff, and those other things.
You know, those things.
Yeah,
no, it just has that feeling about that dragon.
Yeah.
Which is already like a really gay-looking dragon.
Yeah. It's pretty gay before, yeah. And this one
now it does seem like gay, but like a clubbing gay.
Yeah. Like he's hitting the club.
Yeah.
Flammy just happened to come out and like give us a hand. And
yeah, Flammy just came out kind of gay.
Yeah. Just a little... Came out a little strong.
Came out a little strong out of out of that doorway from the closet.
Yeah. Maybe Ishii is really into like insanity, and then this is when P90X came out.
My God, why?
I gotta bring him up on every podcast now.
With the Sean T references.
I don't know, man. I haven't seen or heard of Sean T for years, and like the last two podcasts we've done, I've joked about Sean T.
He's got a YouTube channel.
I bet he does.
And he is. I can't believe, because I guess he must not have been out publicly when Insanity came out.
Yeah.
And he must have felt like he had to hide it for his like public image.
Yeah.
But he is very out.
Yeah.
He's leaning into it in the YouTube channel that I've seen.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That guy can work you out, though.
Yeah,
he's
he's crazy, yeah.
Yeah, he'll beat your ass down.
He will beat your ass. Yeah, dude. I think that Ishii is just a big fan. Yeah, this gameplay. I mean,
gameplay.
The
what do you have on the gameplay? You got something on your write-up?
I just have dashes.
Oh, dashes
and things that I want to talk about. Yeah, it's dash pathing, dash strats, dash hotkeys, dash most painful missions.
27 chapters. You have the story section, which you don't give a fuck about, that lasts anywhere from 1 to 90 minutes. It goes into the chapter. You start the chapter and you have a mission goal. And it's like this isometric view of this gameplay area. And it's basically, in that respect, like any sort of old RTS thing, only on the world's smallest fucking gaming screen.
Yeah.
This side of, the Game Boy Color.
Oh, yeah, and I got my 3DS XL got stolen, as you guys all know. And I got this 3DS regular, and dude, it is too tiny. It is so, I'm like, I hate this thing. I know you're the same size as your 2DS, but like, it's just too small, man. It's like, there's not enough fucking room to do anything on this fucker.
No, this game would only kind of work if, in fact, it was the size of a... I'm sorry, what's the system where most RTSs lie on? Is it the PC? Is it a computer screen? At least a 13-inch screen?
Yeah.
Can we start there, maybe, with this game? No. We get this little tiny little area where we can make everything happen.
Yeah.
And of course, so you start it, it'll have like missions like you gotta get rid of their ship because you each have ships on each side. This is gonna be so hard to fucking explain to people who haven't played the game. You have your guys, they have a mission, you have your ship in which you can spawn guys out of. The enemy usually has their ship where they can spawn guys out of, and there's some sort of thing you have to reach or kill, like a boss or something, and that's like the mission goal. But then, of course, halfway through every single mission, the goal changes.
Psych!
Yeah, like, I could understand if they did it, like, twice.
Yeah.
And it was like, oh, this mission's extra hard because of this story aspect. Just kidding, now you have to go kill this guy after you did the thing for the mission. But no, every single one. So it's like you start the mission and you're like, okay, what kind of fuckery are they going to throw at me? So you have to be ready for whatever fuckery they're going to throw at you midway through the fight.
Which is almost impossible when you start the fight out because you don't know what kind of units are going to be put against you. And a big part of this game is countering unit types with your unit type. So you'll build up your units to fight the first wave. And then they'll be like, just kidding, now there's the exact counter to your guys. What are you going to do now?
Just kidding, there's dragons now.
I guess I'm just going to fucking die. And it sucks even worse when you die before you get to the midpoint. And then you get to the midpoint, and then the game's like, and you die again, and you're like, fuck.
But then there's like 2 missions where it's like, reach the other side, and then it ends, and you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What the fuck? Why are these two so fucking easy?
Yeah, and it's right after the hell, too. One of the hardest missions in this game, the very next mission was like 9 minutes. Like, so, reach the end of the field and you just fucking go.
You're spawning dudes out of your ship. You have some sort of goal. Sometimes there's guys on the map that are like part of the place that you're invading or like whatever. These are the Iraqis that are helping you get the terrorists basically in the area that you're in. You have your hero characters, which of course do a lot of damage or whatever sometimes. And then and you have a certain amount where you can spawn them for some fuck off reason. Some levels you can have like 6 of them, and then some levels you can have like 3 of them.
Yeah.
Why? Because the game decided that was the case.
Yeah, it just no reason other than just random decision from the game.
So that's painful, and then you have your guys out there, and there's like 4 types of dudes. There's flying, there's range. There's like regular infantry units,
heavies,
and then there's heavies. And they counter each other on this board. And don't worry, the tutorial is the first 7 levels of the game.
Yeah, it'll mention it. And it mentions it like repeatedly later, too.
Remember to counter the flying guys with the ranged.
Yeah, duh. And then the bases even tell you, like when you're in there building the units, it'll be like, oh, these counter these guys. I'm like, well, why did you have to tell me like 30 times?
Right? And you don't even, for the first couple levels, you don't even get access to certain things until it decides to like
unlock it. Yeah.
Unlock it for you after it's taught you a good lesson. Horrible. Like, I can't believe that the tutorial was 1/5 of the fucking game. So that's where we start. That's where we start with this game. It's that long ass tutorial, which is multiple easy levels. Don't worry. But then you'll hit a level not soon after the tutorial ends, which you won't be able to get across. What were the chapters that you remember being especially heinous?
Shit. I know there's one pretty early on.
Chapter 9, I think, was one that I was stuck on it for like forever.
Yeah. I'm going to search our chat, you and I, and find it. I'm going to search chapter. All right, so I looked up some of our chat on this game. This is when I came back into town, and here's Joe's initial thing is dude fuck chapter 19. Super caps locked on the fuck, and he says, I'm just supposed to destroy the ship, but I trigger the enemies immediately and only have 14 apples to spawn party members with before that. And I was like, yeah. And he says, an hour and a half fucking done. Can't do it. I was like, I told you, man, it's randomly pedal to the metal, and then the next one is a cakewalk. And then he said, how did you do this, cunt? And I was laughing so fucking hard.
Question is, was I calling you cunt, or was I calling the level
I don't know. I thought it was me, but for beating it. Yeah. And I told you I laughed pretty hard at that. He's like, tell me or I burn the Libsyn account. And then I was like, I thought you had your precious walkthrough. You told me it was worthless. Oh, man. And then
I'm remembering now. I'm remembering things about this game.
Yeah, and then I told you how to fight it. It's like you just kind of have to, like, fight and, like, fight in this level. You have to just fight your way over, and you have to continually fight to get resources and shit like that. And then you said, I can't fucking do this. 2.5 hours. Fuck this game. Rogette can't get to the southeast without dying. And then you said, I'm not sure if this is even possible. And then I kind of told you the strats for it. And then you said 9:30 to 1:45, same fucking level.
9:30 p.m. to 1:45 a.m. spent on one level of this game. That text was sent at 1:48 a.m. I say so, and what I say there, 9:30 to 1:45, same fucking level. I hate everything. I want to die. I want to kill.
Yeah. Oh, man.
That's about. He tips to not get ass raped in FF8. What the fuck were we talking about down there? All right. Gotta stop looking at my chat. This game, sections of it were so fucking painful. That was probably the worst one. Was that like, what? How many hours spent on one fight? Because that wasn't it. That wasn't the only try on that thing.
Yeah.
9:30 to 1:45. It was longer than that on one fight. And the thing is, like, sometimes this game, once again, so easy, and then sometimes it's like a wall of pain. A wall of pain. You got guys trying to gather resources so you could spawn more guys. They're getting their ass raped. You're trying to, like, push through to the next area, and guys will just, like, come along. And there's even, like, some chapters where you start it and, like, nothing is happening. There's no conflict happening. But my God, if one guy goes one square too close to one enemy,
yeah.
The entire army is notified against you, and they come and they just, like, it's just a wall of death coming towards you.
And then if you think, oh, well, as long as I keep my guys away, this should be safe, right? But the problem is your guys are like Leroy Jenkinson the whole time. Like, dude, you'll have a path. You'll tell a guy, okay, look, here's my base, and then there's a horizontal line to a path, horizontal path, straight shot. to the resource. They're on land. There's no water gap. There's nothing cutting them off. And they will go around. They'll go around. And sometimes they'll go it's like a scenic route. It's like you're going to the house. It's like you're going to the house. You're coming into like a cul-de-sac. And the house you want to go to is on the left. Like right as the cul-de-sac opens into the round bulb. But you go right and you go all the way around the cul-de-sac. And then you park in front of the house on the left. That's what these guys do. But except the problem with that is...
Only it's as painful as going from California to Nevada and you decided to go up through Oregon, Montana, swing over to Colorado, then go back down.
Yeah.
In order to get to Nevada.
And all of those countries are at war with you. All those states are now countries at war with California.
God.
And they're coming. And they're bringing all their friends.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, it's like a... It's like a fucking, like, if you, like, leave a dish or something in the sink and, like, you leave for the weekend and then you come back and it's, like, got that film over it and then you, like, poke the film and the stank comes out. That's the closest thing I can come to, like, with this. You, like, poke these guys and then suddenly, like, their, like, stench, their, like, aura of pain just comes out and then they're like, oh, yeah, by the way... And then they just fucking wall of dudes over and over and over, and they just keep coming.
How hard would it be to program, like, okay, there's a one outlier guy out in the middle of this fucking map. On that particular level, I'm thinking of, like, there's, like, one guy you can kill, and the entire army won't be notified. But then another guy who is just as far away from everybody else and is just, like, at his post... If you got your bees and you just like sting him to death, wait 1 second for everybody to start coming down.
Yeah.
And they come down and they just go to the last person that they saw. So the entire army will come down to one point. Basically, and the only way that I could figure out how to deal with that level was to like cheese the fuck out of it. Was by having like a bunch of different guys go in different directions so that their troops would like follow them and they'd be weak and you could pick them off.
Yeah.
It's horrible.
I just had the counter units and I would wreck those guys.
And I wish that it was like actual strategy involved, but you are fighting the enemy base, but you're also fighting the game.
Yeah.
You're fighting the game. There's because of the collision that you were talking about where you're like, you ask one guy to go one place and if there's nothing in his way, he might stutter for a second, but he'll get there.
Yeah.
God forbid you ask two people to go to the same place through the same direction, and one of them steps in front of the other for a second. It's like, oh, I see how it is. And then the other guy goes way the fuck around.
Yeah, dude. It's like, all I can imagine is like a room full of like Japanese businessmen like bumping into each other, man. Oh, so sorry. Pardon me, sir. And just like, just like everyone's like apologizing to each other and like just milling
around. I'll go
around
around the building to get to the same room.
I will go take the stairs down and then up this floor again, and then you will be out of my way. It's like, that's all I can think of is just fucking people milling around each other and like just apologizing for bumping into each other. Like they just get stuck. And then they and the game gives you these options. Like at the bottom of the screen, it's like, okay, select all of your ranged units. And I'm like, okay, well, there's
Why
a guy.
does it give you that option?
I don't know. There's a flying guy. And so I'm like, okay, click all the ranged units, click attack on the flying guy, which, by the way, good luck clicking the attack. You'll just like, oh, do you want to walk to this spot right next to the guy? And I'm like, no, I want to attack him. Oh, do you want to walk to this spot?
God forbid.
No, I want to attack him.
God forbid the target moves.
Yeah. Oh, and the worst part, the most heinous part about all of this is, oh, you want to move your ranged guys in for an attack? Here's what they'll do. They'll walk up to the target and then attack him point blank. And it's like, no. You're an archer. You fucking stay back.
Stand back.
And
like every other RTS that's ever been made with archers.
And then they'll do the same thing. They'll all be trying to walk to that one point where this fucking enemy is, and they'll be milling around each other. Meanwhile, your army is getting ravaged by this guy, and all you can do is either A, micromanage the fuck out of these guys and like move them
one guy
away,
at a time.
one guy at a time, pull them away so that they can then turn around and attack.
You know what RTSs are known for? One guy at a time kind of tactics.
Exactly, yeah. Or the only way to play this game, in my opinion, is you just let the enemies come to you. Or to not. Yeah, you pull it out and you drop it right in the garbage can.
Thinking about it. Like, why do I have the game and the game case in my place?
Yeah.
What is it doing for me?
Yeah.
Nothing.
Never again will this be touched. Ever.
No.
And yeah, it's that bad. And like and sometimes I'll have even like you'll leave the range guys kind of far away, and then you'll kind of let the guys come to you, and then they'll attack them. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they just stand there, and I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, you're just as close to this guy as all of your buddies, but you're looking the other way. You're facing the wrong direction. Turn around. And then when I'm like, grab him, and I'm like, hey, go attack it, he just waddles up to the enemy, and then it's like, oh, I got a bow, and then starts shooting the bow. I'm like, idiot.
The delay when they get to their spot
Yeah.
is atrocious.
And they're getting hit the whole time, by the way.
Oh, yeah, don't worry. The enemy knows what they're fucking doing.
They know how to play the game.
Yeah, they know exactly how to play the game. God, dude, it is the worst strategy game by far that I have ever played or ever even heard of.
Yeah, the collision is so unacceptable. The units, yeah, there's a rock, paper, scissors element to it, but it doesn't matter. If you can't have a way to hotkey and like quickly grab a whole group of units and then utilize their skill, aka range, against the guys that they're weak to.
You can quickly grab units. It'll just be, you don't know which one you're grabbing because there's just like little symbols on the bottom. Who knows which one's Rejette?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, it's when you grab the one symbol, it's all of the like main characters, all the humans, and then each one of the servants have their own
This
little.
one, no. This one, no. This one, no. Oh, this one.
Yeah,
that's how it is.
And then the hard thing is like some of those levels, I'm getting like you're getting so emotionally upset because like you're trying to gather resources, and then suddenly one guy will just come out of nowhere and he will fuck your day up, and like. We're not talking just kill your free resource gathering units, which are mainly the ones I almost always use, the little rabbits, because they're free. But he'll kill them after they grab the resource. So now the resource is just gone forever. And you're like, what a spiteful little prick. Like, what an asshole. He comes in here and he's like, oh, you got your little stone, huh? And he just zaps your ass and you die. And it's like, well, no one gets the stone now.
No one gets the stone now.
Yeah.
No.
It's fucking evil.
It's, I forgot what I was going to say. It's just awful. It's just awful. Like, I can't. All right. So I'm thinking through the strategy games I've played. All the Warcraft games. Great.
Yeah.
Kohan Armin's Gift. Ancient classic that no one knows about, apparently, except for me. Great game. All the like little sim games I've played that are similar to this.
Age of Empires 2.
Age of Empires, Civilizations.
Age of Mythology.
God. So many games that were made in this realm before this game. Even Revenant Wings, which I guess is a distant second place on the list of shit RTS games.
Distant.
Who could have ever thought that they made the same fucking place, at least managerial? Square Enix makes a game, Revenant Wings. Not great.
No.
Kind of a bad game. But it has like balance issues, that's really what the problem is there. And then the story is also dog shit. This one, also dog shit story. Okay, that's pretty par for the course on Mana, to be frank.
Yeah.
But the RTS elements, like they couldn't have looked at Revenant Wings and gone, okay, we do this, but we fix it up a little bit.
Yeah.
That wasn't an option there in that last year of development that they had.
Nope.
Horrible.
Brownie Brown doesn't care about Revenant Wings.
Brownie Brown just likes making stains in their shorts.
Yeah. Gonna Brownie Brown those whitey tighties up.
Oh my god, dude.
Man, it is bad. And it's almost like it's so bad. Like we keep saying that over and over again.
It's just bad, guys.
It really is. Like, and I'm playing it and I'm just like, God, this is like, it's who the fuck made this? Who the fuck was like, yeah, put it out? It's like, wait a minute here. Like,
wait, we're not ready.
This is not done. Like, the collision in this is unholy.
There's only like, so considering the realm of RTS games, like sometimes they're really actiony and you got to like do it as you go along, but that's like the game. And then sometimes it's like, okay, gather your units, make sure you're ready, and then you decide to go out and conquer.
Which sometimes you can do that in here.
Which is a lot like the Warcraft games are a lot like that.
Yeah.
A lot closer to that. And there's only like a couple levels where that's even like a feasible thing. Is like gather your shit, gather your units, you know what they're going to have.
And even then, they're sending small little parties of like 2-3 people to come fuck you up. And if you're not careful, you'll lose one of your named guys, and then it just gets worse and worse.
Which is like kind of the fun part of real-time strategy games is like the managerial side of it. But you have like barely any of that in this game.
Yeah, and what you do have is painful because it's impossible to manage anything.
They don't do what you tell them.
No, I swear to God, guys, like you will have, and the game it'll tell you the pathing. It'll tell you where they're going to go. And like there will be times where I'll like look at the map and there's a
God forbid you select more than one person, but yes.
Exactly. And it's like you have to because you can have like 30 fucking people on the map at the same time. And and like I said, when you tell them to all go to the same square, they'll mill about, and then one of them will be like, you know what? I want to go explore. I'm going to go around the world. I'll do what you told me to do, but I'll do it on my time.
You could just have one of the main characters sitting at base where you haven't touched them the whole game, and he just decides to leave.
Yeah.
That's happened. I swear to God, that's happened. I played a game. I did not touch any of the hero characters, but there was some like, the bees were going around gathering up resources, and like there was some small collision, and the guy was like, "Okay, I'll move," and then he fucking walked halfway through the map.
Fine, dude, fine,
and triggered the bad guys to come after me.
Yeah,
I never told them to do shit.
Yeah, or like there was a map. I think it was like around the mid-20s, like 23, 24. Where there was an island with resources, and there were enemies kind of nearby, and so I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to go a different strategy. I'm going to actually spend some coin on some good harvester units. So I bought the bees, because the bees fly over, and it's a little water map, so I'd have them fly over the water and get to the other island, and I swear to God, dude, it was a straight path, like straight from my base to that thing, and you could stay away from the enemies. The enemies won't be activated, and I shit you not, dude, for no reason. I even did it with one bee. At first I did it with two, and I was like, oh, maybe the bees collided, and one of them got like, okay, fine, and like went off to the side.
Two bees collided.
But no, he just went, my base was kind of like half a screen away from the left side of the thing, and instead of going straight, he went all the way to the left, up, and then turned right, and he pulled every fucking dude, and I'm like, oh my God! And then like I think that's that one. I think it's the one that you were stuck on for ages, because then like the dudes from the west, the like southwest, they come. And they come hard, and they like all the resources, almost all of them are like kind of in that southwestern zone. And so they just fucking wipe you, and there's nothing you could do about it.
The funny thing is, Schweiss, outside of one level where we both had problems, we had problems on different levels. That was what was funny to me. I think you just like accepted the fact that you had to micromanage, and I refused to accept the micromanaging. I would still select every attacker and then have them go to a spot and be like, fuck it, I'll try it. I know some of them are going to be like, fucking waddling off over to nowhere, but I'm gonna and there was that one level that was like 5.5 hours where finally I just had to like accept the fact I had to like summon some triceratopses to fucking go north while everybody else went south in order to be able to handle it. It was atrocious, and we haven't even talked about the fact that you cannot every single level you cannot let Rogette die. You can't let your main character die ever. It's a real-time strategy game. Everybody else can die and come back for the next chapter, but fucking if it's Rogette or Or if it's anybody having to do with the story on the next level, you are forced to, one, use them, and then also forced to not let them die.
Yeah.
So you have Rogette, who I built up to be a beast with the best equipment that was dropped to me in the game so that he wouldn't die very easily. I have to have him sitting in a fucking corner and to never move. But Rogette is a hothead. Rogette, if there is an enemy, if he gets a whiff of enemy scent from 12 miles away, he is out of wherever you put him in order to, like, quote unquote, defend, aka ruin the game with his attack. It is so frustrating. And of course, you got this little screen, and you're only like taking up like 1/12 of the map that you can actually see. And Rogette, you could be like dealing with guys in one corner trying to get the goal of the mission done. Rogette at the base will have done some fuck off stupid thing where he like wandered off and he's getting gang raped by 12 different enemies at the same time. And don't worry, the music will let you know what's happening, but there is no quick selection to see where the fuck Rogette is. So the next thing you're scrambling to do when the music's like, yes. The next thing you have to do is like panickingly look about the entire map until you find Rogette.
Yeah. Yeah.
Horrible.
And then, dude,
terrifying. The
whole time, I'm just like, the lyrics of Wherever I May Roam are just like going through my head.
God, dude. Is there anything else about this game that we haven't touched on?
Whenever Roger roams. Dumbass.
He's dumbass. So I swear to God, guys, and I know this is going to be an episode that's going to be listened to hardly by anybody.
Yeah.
So thank you for those who are listening to this.
It's a fuck that. It is so
we'll have like 15 times the amount of downloads for an FF7 remake review, but whatever. Fine, whatever. Man, we're only playing it because, we're completionists, and maybe you guys like RPGs and want to explore other RPGs. But no. You're stuck in the little ruts. I'm talking to the people who didn't download this episode, of course. So you guys won't even they won't even know the pain. So I reckon I'm doing this for nothing, right?
Pretty much, yeah. And we knew that the whole time. As we're getting pounded and just beaten down.
Know this the whole time. We're getting pounded and beaten down so that we can say we played every Final Fantasy thing on the fucking planet. This is barely even a Final Fantasy game. It's barely connected because it's a spin-off of a spin-off of a spin-off. It's like what this is right now.
It is, yeah. It's like 3 levels deep of spin-off. Inception.
My God, it's so terrible. It's just so terrible.
It's like you almost can't put it into words, which is why we keep saying the same thing over and over again.
We just keep on repeating
It's just so bad. And the collision, if you haven't seen or played it, it is truly unholy.
Oh, I remember what I was doing. Hardly anybody's going to listen to this episode, right? But don't worry, hardly anybody's ever played this game in their fucking life. Hardly anyone. There are some reviews on this game basically complaining about the same shit. Like, oh, wow, the collision's really bad. I can't believe for a second that any of the game critics ever beat this game or got more than 5 levels into it. Can't believe that. There's also, no joke, 2 people in the entire world who have a playthrough of this game uploaded to YouTube. One is Japanese.
Yeah.
So I have no idea what he's saying. Obviously.
The other one called his main character Dingus, according to Joe.
The other one did call this man Dingus. So the only way I could see someone beating the game was one obscure YouTube channel I found where someone had played through the game. By the way, if you search Heroes of Mana into YouTube, even with the quotes around it, you're going to get other Mana games.
Yeah.
You're not going to get Heroes of Mana. So finding the fucking video was nearly impossible. And he helped me a couple times where I was like, oh, those units would be good here. Those units would be good here. Great. There is a strategy guide that someone wrote. There's an official strategy guide, which I almost ordered because of how difficult this game is. All I needed was someone to do was tell me what fucking units to put where at what time.
Yeah.
Would that be the most difficult thing? And of course, the typed up strategy guide, first off, horribly horribly done. Did what they could apparently, but like no visual representation on this game. So they're just like southeast corner, kind of by this thing,
which you
this
need
guy here. You need to see it in order for you to have a strategy guide that would work for this game. That strategy guide turned out to be completely useless. Watching the guy get just as frustrated as I am on the video, less useless, but still, like, the games don't always, when you're restarting these things, they don't always react the same way. There's an element of chaos here that is just like, you're just on your own.
Yeah, there's a like you said, an element of chaos, a randomness to the hell, I would say, where like sometimes it won't quite happen the way it's going to happen to that guy, and it doesn't matter. You're done. You can't do a strategy because you're getting your ass cheeks freaking cleaved apart by the game.
God,
I would do it, but everyone's dead that's supposed to do that thing. Like, I don't know, man. I didn't look at the tutorial once. I pride myself in just figuring it out myself for this game.
there were some, like, what helped me through the last 5 levels was getting stuck on that one level.
Yeah, it kind of
because
taught you.
When I got stuck on that level, I realized what units were the destroyers.
Yeah,
and like what they could do.
Because golems.
There's the sheep. I don't know what they're actually called in the game because, by
the
God,
sheep are brutal. Yeah,
you make a sheep character, you call it something else, and you make a fucking triceratops, and you call it like a boomer or some bullshit
fucking
title.
boomer.
It's like, just call it a triceratops. That's what it is. I'm looking at it right now. Triceratops can cross the water and have great health, and when they attack something small and like kill it really quickly, they'll get their health boost. So for that level that I was stuck on, and I found this out by watching that guy and like patiently watching that guy because he had to restart it like 5 times too. I started way more times than that, but he would take that Triceratops guys. He would take 3 of them and like go off into a different corner and just like take out the small ranged guys over and over and over again. And I'm like, okay, that's now my strategy. I take beefy ground characters. I go and just take out ranged guys and don't worry about anything else.
Yeah.
Because the other guys can deal with the ground troops.
Yeah.
So, okay, that's now my new quote-unquote strategy, as if, of course, anything listens to you ever in this game.
Yeah. That's basically what I did near the end, too. I would just find the units that, like, raped face to the units that are there, and I would just go pick them out in, like, little pockets. Like, even if it was just my main units, I would go down and just slaughter unit after unit. What are you finding?
I just Googled Heroes of Mana, and I saw IGN's score.
Like a 6.7.
8 out of 10!
Fake news right
that
there.
That is 7 points too high.
That is way too high.
What the fuck? Did we play the same game? I've not talked. There's no one online playing this game. That one guy was screaming about doofus, like dingus on the fucking game.
9 people have completed it on How Long to Beat.
Hate it. 9 people have completed it. It's got a 66 on Metacritic, and IGN, who I believe gave the same fucking score to like one of the great Metal Gear Solid games, gave this an 8 out of 10. Fuck you, IGN. Jesus fucking Christ.
Yeah, this is bad. It's really bad, and like I'd have these little strategies set up. You'd have the strategy set up, and it kind of works. You know, most of the time it'll work, but then sometimes something will go wrong, and you will have to start the whole level over again. It's like, and it's so frustrating because you know how to beat it.
It's so long.
And you know what needs to be done, and then something gets fucked, and then the whole thing's over. And it is, it's so fucking brutal. And the milling around and just and then like later on the enemy types, like the bishop guy, he has like a swipe move that'll like swipe the whole screen and it'll hit everybody. And some of these guys fucking lay down the law on your ass. And if you have dudes that are close that aren't really in the fight because they're not used right at this moment, they will still get knocked out. Like it is balls to the wall. And then the last fight, I died once to the last boss. And it was Rosette got turned into one of those little stupid fucking like pill guys. He looks like Plankton from like SpongeBob. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Those little fuckers. He got turned
Yeah.
into one of those, and he was soloing the final boss, and he was close. She almost died. And the next time I did it, her health was just a little bit lower than what I got it to with just him. And the problem with the final boss is like
she's brutal.
She goes Leroy Jenkins on you too, where she stays back for a little while, and then when she starts coming, she does not stop.
She's brutal. It did only take 2 tries to beat her, but
She's vicious as fuck.
it's just a long fight, and she's ridiculous.
Yeah. Luckily for me,
The golems were the key.
Yeah.
And only don't send all of them at once. Go in, do some damage, get your guys back.
When she turns into
heal
the
'em up.
black spirit thing.
Yeah.
Oh,
And then send 'em
I
out.
mostly had ranged, and my named guys. My named guys were fucking wrecking her.
No.
They died though, and then so I would have the resurrection base, and I would just bring back just the girl. I would just bring back Hawkeye's mom, Falcon.
Hawkeye's mom, Falcon.
Yeah, and because I got her ranged far enough that she could knock out those the like BDSM ones without them even being able to touch her. And those ones would give you resources, so I could keep summoning more dudes. That was kind of my strat to beat the game, is just keep bringing that bitch back.
I just threw everything I had at her.
It's crazy,
That's what I
though.
did.
She hits fucking hard.
I went around the map, gathered literally everything, and then went in.
Oh, I didn't gather very much. I only gathered the ones nearby, because the others I would just get killed.
I mean, you'd have the guys, but if you had like a good, solid like surrounding of guys, and Rashad, of course, in the back corner where he could not be allowed to move,
Yeah.
then you could deal with it. And that's like, oh, I got the game by the end. But at the same time, it's a horrible game.
Yeah,
It's a horrible game.
You don't get it even then, because the game doesn't get itself.
No.
You know, it's like, oh, ranged, but they're retarded, so they won't shoot until they're got their fucking bow, until they can put the arrow in your ass as they're pulling it back and then shoot it.
Initial sales were, this is on Wikipedia, initial sales were lower than those for Children of Mana, the other Nintendo DS title in the series released 1 year earlier. Koichi Ishii, idiot, attributed this to the overall lack of experience and popularity of the RTS genre in
Fuck
Japan.
that.
How about the fact that you made the worst RTS game I have ever heard of?
Yeah. He's full of shit. The reviews for the game were poor, too mediocre, and reviews are kind of all over the place with this thing. One thing that brought everyone together was their derision of the AI, though. That's what I wrote down.
Oh, yeah, that thing that you need in every RTS to be decent.
Yeah. Dude, it by the end of 2007, it sold 98,500 copies in Japan and 50,000 in North America.
Too many. That's too many people who have this game.
Yeah.
Those poor people who bought that game wasted their fucking money.
It really is too bad for all of those poor bastards.
God, so we can quickly go over like the art and how the game looks and the music. Yoko Shimomura is on the music side. She does a good job.
Oh yeah, there's a few tracks in here that I think are really good.
So that's fine.
I hate the game, but the tracks are good. She does good work.
Yeah, it wasn't at least an annoying soundtrack at the same time as you're playing these annoying levels.
Yeah.
Thank God.
It wasn't like Play Online, you know. Levels of annoyance.
Yeah, and I would start humming the music and stuff like that. So the soundtrack's, yeah, it's good. I don't think it's one of the best in the series, but it's good.
No.
Of course, I don't think her other one is one of the best in the series either. Like
No.
Legend of Mana, like it's fine.
She does good work, but
She does good work. 15 is way better the soundtrack end, and I think Kingdom Hearts is way better. I think she saves her good stuff for the AAA titles.
yeah, she knows where to put her money.
She knows where to put all her effort, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, this is a really good. Oh, yeah, this is, Kingdom Hearts. we'll wait. But so that was good. The art and graphics. A lot of people in the reviews that I was just scanning through, it looks like that's a lot of what they were praising on the Nintendo DS side of things. I get it looks fine for me,
Yeah.
but I guess for a DS game, it probably looks pretty good. Very colorful game. Kind of has like the same like 2D anime thing that the series has been going for since Legend of Mana. So it has like when characters come up and talk in their like respective long ass cutscenes. It's just like the 2D model representation of them. It's fine. Nothing really blew me away. Nothing that was like gray and ugly and dark. In fact, actually, like the final level looked pretty cool.
It was pretty sweet. Yeah.
So that's those are kind of the two better aspects of this horrible game.
And the enemy general, that Baxilios chick, she's pretty hot. She's got like huge knockers, dude.
Yeah, you mean her breasts are great.
Her breasts are great.
Her breasts are great.
Yeah, dude.
There you
like,
go.
pretty good.
So, on that level, fine. So I guess if we were doing a Nude Clan scoring, it would have about 20 out of 50 for me.
From music and design exclusively.
Music and design, and also like the game isn't broken, although it's close.
It's pretty close.
It'd get like a 1 in the gameplay category, not a 0. Replayability, it would get a 0.
Yeah, I think this might be the most broken game I've ever completed. Maybe. Like Medal of Honor Frontline on hard was pretty broken. You got guys like across the map, just not even no scoping. They just blind fire a single shot rifle and it would hit me. That was pretty broken. Like, this is close. I mean, I can't justify it. I mean, I can blind fire a rifle from that distance and see if I hit it, but I can't like see if a bunch of dudes I tell to go do something mill around each other, I suppose. But like, this might be the most broken gameplay I've ever experienced in a game that I finished. I don't know of anything worse.
It's real close for me with
with the Bounty
New
Hunter.
Nightmare.
Oh, do you think that's worse gameplay than Bounty Hunter?
I was, I think, equally frustrated with both games, but actually one is a game that's poorly coded, like bad. Bounty Hunter, you can go from the beginning to the end of the game.
Yeah. That's true.
In Alone in the Dark, a New Nightmare,
actually broken.
there aren't known dozens of game-breaking glitches throughout a 4-hour campaign. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Like, how could you fuck that up?
It's so small.
So, no, it's not on that level. But this is in my top 10 worst games I have ever played in my entire life. Definitely out of the ones I've beaten, but I think out of all games.
Yeah. You can make that claim, and no one will fight you on that. I'm almost positive. Like, if you haven't played ET,
Except for the fucker who gave it 8 out of 10 on IGN.
Yeah, that guy's a bitch.
He played the first level.
Yeah, he was like, "Oh, this is kind of," and in the first level, I was like, "Oh, this is kind of fun. It's
this will be a nice little easy little.
It's a little clunky, sure.
Yeah, it's
like,
kind of got bad control.
but then the game is like, it puts the hammer of God, the fist of God comes down, and you're like, "Oh, this is hard," and it's badly coded.
It puts the acid on the skin.
Yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, well, we got like 2 questions. We might as well get to them.
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, so the 2 people who answered or asked us questions on Discord, appreciate it. Brulo asks, is this game worse than Bounty Hunter or which you just asked me, or Digimon Cyber Sleuth Hacker's Memory?
I would say yes. I think it's worse than both of those.
I would concur.
It's way worse than Digimon Hacker's Memory. That one's just
Digimon Hacker's
long
Memory,
and boring.
Long, boring, but functional.
Yeah. The other two, not so much.
Bounty Hunter is horribly conceived. And it has like some glitchiness to it that is like terribly frustrating.
Yeah.
It's also like old school setup, but has like the worst platforming on the planet. But even then, I spent a long time. I spent like 3 hours on one level in Bounty Hunter, but I never spent 5 hours on one level in Bounty Hunter.
Yeah, that's true.
So
yeah, and honestly, Bounty Hunter is like the nasty child of like makeup sex, and this game is just, I don't even. This game is just nasty. This game is just fucking. It's like if you could somehow conceive, if you could like morph human DNA with like some kind of animal, and you create some kind of fucked up like in between creature. This is what this game is. This is some like scientifically made beast.
It's like the things that they were going to do for Jurassic Park 3. If you've ever heard about that, it's like the Jurassic Park human hybrids.
Oh yeah.
We've all heard tale of.
Yeah, that would have been bad. The movie already sucks, so maybe they should have just gone with it.
There's another question. There's one question from Twitter. Well, someone did ask. Sorry, I just accidentally clicked away from it, so I can't remember who asked it. But someone did ask, is it true that it's Revenant Wings 2.0?
It's like Revenant Wings 0.5.
Yeah, it's like the first draft on a rough demo for Revenant Wings. Revenant Wings.
It actually kind of plays okay.
It's up in the heavens, and this is down in hell. That's the chasm of quality difference between this piece of shit and that not great game.
Yeah, there's a big difference of quality between these two. And like that one had its own glitchy, like shitty programming where the enemies would kind of stop chasing you, but that was kind of like a reprieve, you know. And this one, they never stop. And like it's bad.
Revenant Wings, the worst thing about Revenant Wings is that its final boss level is dependent on your level.
Yeah.
And that like and there is like a range there where he's beatable, and then everything else is like that guy's impossible, and he's really difficult. That's the worst thing about Revenant Wings. It's an almost unforgivable sin. But that's one level.
Yeah, this is the whole game.
This is 27 chapters of mind-numbingly boring or the most frustrating thing you have ever come across in your life.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, one question here on Twitter, and this is the end of our questions. Is it true you enjoyed Heroes of Mana more than Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2? I see these are just like people who are listening to Nude Clan, and then our UFF listeners just don't give a fuck, so they don't want to ask this question. Yeah. But is it true that I enjoyed it more than Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 and 2? No. I want that to be very clear. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 1 plus 2 was a godsend. It was a beautiful game / games that came into my life at the right time.
Yeah.
And I think it had Tony Hawk, and I've been recently playing the Halo series with Nude Clan. They've made me like fall in love with video games again, which hadn't happened in a while. I hadn't played like a bunch of games in a row that I really loved. I did love the Final Fantasy VII remake, of course.
Yeah.
But, you know, that was like a pillar on the horizon. Now I'm getting like multiple games in a row that are just wonderful, wonderful games.
And they're not only that, but they're nostalgic kicks, too.
And they're nostalgic because, of course, the first few, like that kind of era of the early Xbox, early PS2 stuff, that and late PS1 stuff, that's kind of my jam.
Yeah.
As far as like when video games were introduced
Those
to
are
me.
the good old days.
And they're still good. So as opposed to like Bounty Hunter, which might have been a passable game back in the day, not age well. Horrible.
Yeah.
So I got to tell you, this game, once again, one of the worst games. Probably number what? Let's see if I can rank the worst games I've ever played and beaten. Alone in the Dark: A New Nightmare is probably number 1. I'll give it this. I'll give this game that honor of not being number 1 worst game I've ever played and beaten. There are games, of course, I've futzed around with that I was never going to pick up again. I think Rain and Fire I've talked about.
Yeah.
Picked it up a couple times. Both times I'm like, this is awful. And I'm not playing this.
I kind of want to now.
I think this might be. Bounty Hunter was frustrating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is our way to like stare into the void of hell. You know what I mean? Like, some people listen to murder podcasts. Some people read like, I mean, I guess I do these too, but not the murder podcast. Some people read like, you know, genocide books we play awful games just to make us see the true horrors of humankind. What the worst thing that we could possibly do.
Dissidia NT. Crystal Bears, at least on the gameplay, but the story I was interested in and I liked it. So that kind of boosts it up. That would be the worst game if the story was bad.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Worse than gameplay, for sure.
This series, the Mana series.
Dissidia NT.
Dude, Dissidia NT isn't that bad, but you have to play it a lot.
Oh, you have to just play it a lot until it like bludgeons you into thinking that it's a good game, like you're like an abusive spouse.
Yeah, kind of. I mean, I just rig it to where I only play with NPCs.
So
but then even then,
the real game.
Even then,
don't you remember getting online? And it was just lag city.
Yeah, I do. I do remember that. Sometimes it still is that way because I will run into people occasionally. Anyways, what's really frustrating to me with NT real fast, just a little divergence. I've been playing it again because my PS4 I got working again, so I'm playing the free edition, and I found out the thing I hate more. Okay, I really don't like the game. Like I don't like it, but I want to get all the trophies for Final Fantasy.
You don't like it, but you are an apologist for it.
I am an apologist. Yeah. And every once in a while, I found the thing I hate more than losing in a game that I hate is tying in a game that I hate. Because you can tie if you run out of time and the match isn't over. It's a tie, and I get so fucking mad when that happens. Like, because I'll be trying to kill a guy, right? I'm like doing my kill attack, and then for some reason, one of the NPCs on my team just feels the need to just swat the guy and knock him out of my killing move, and then he does it over and over and over. Or then suddenly they start attacking me, so I don't have enough damage built up to do the killing blow, and then it's a tie. Time's up, tie, and I fucking hate ties. I hate it. I hate the game, and I rage each time. I'm like, I hate this, and I have to do it again.
The lag, so you can't play multiplayer on Dissidia NT. The controls are dog shit. The fucking game variant with the 3 people at a time, like they had something. They had something. I didn't even know they had something going with the first 2 Dissidias. I didn't even know that actually how good it was in comparison to what they were gonna do with the 3rd Dissidia game.
That one's bad.
But is it worse than Heroes of Mana?
Fuck no. I say nay.
I think it is worse than Dawn of Mana, but I don't think it's worse than Heroes of Mana. At the moment, maybe I'm forgetting a game. It goes Alone in the Dark and New Nightmare. Worst game I've ever played. Horrible. Then we're going Heroes of Mana. That's how bad this game is.
Yeah, I'll probably do Heroes of Mana, then slightly better Parasite Eve 2 as my 2 worst.
Heroes of Mana number 1 worst?
Oh, yeah, number 1 worst. The worst game I've ever played, yeah. To completion, yeah.
To completion, okay. You played a little bit of Alone in the Dark.
I did. I couldn't play it. I hated it.
What does that tell you?
I got really mad. I was like, this is brutal. Like, it's fucking hard. I don't have anything. These zombies in this hallway. There's a chair in the hallway. I can't get past the chair.
God forbid you make the game glitch and you have to restart the entire game over again.
Yeah.
God forbid.
God forbid you save in the wrong place and you got to restart the game again.
Oh, I'm sorry. It's my fault.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, I saved in the wrong place, too. And I was like, oh, fuck. And I'm out of saves, so I progress, but then you die. Yeah.
Yeah, so I guess we can quickly go over the Mana series. Similar conversation to what happened last time, only imagine more hate as the list goes down deeper.
Yeah, yeah.
God. Yeah. Yeah.
Evil.
Trials of Mana, really good game. Really good game. Probably should be a classic, but it didn't come out in the States. Might be a classic in Japan. I don't know.
Yeah.
Secret of Mana, classic here, classic everywhere. Second best game in the series, in my opinion. Very good game. Adventure of Mana. I'm sorry. Fuck that up. Final Fantasy Adventure.
I'm sure Adventure of Mana is one of the ports.
I'm sure it'll happen. Final Fantasy Adventure, that one was fun. It's like a really easy Zelda. So I enjoyed it. for what it is. It's just a little handheld title. It's like he knew how to do a handheld title back in the day, but this, whatever, fuck it. All made by the same guy, by the way. Fucking lead guy, all the same. It's not like he didn't fuck around. So he made these really good, or 2 really good games, 1 pretty good game, right at the beginning. Just like bam, bam, bam. And Legend of Mana might be one of the most boring games of all time. But actually, I think I would rank... What did I rank last time? I don't remember. I think I ranked Children above it. Because Children was more fun, despite being also really boring. It was more fun. And it was fun to do the multiplayer with Schweiss.
Yeah.
Then we're going Legend of Mana because it's boring and nothing's going on. And my God. That's when the games get bad. But then somehow it gets way worse with Dawn of Mana. And you can hear us screaming about that on our last episode of Ultima Final Fantasy. Dawn of Mana, one of the worst platforming games ever that I've played to completion, of course. Which I haven't played that many platforming games to completion, to be fair.
Yeah.
And then this one is definitely rounding out the bottom of the list. A good step down from the horrible Dawn of Mana. Heroes of Mana. Second worst game I've ever played. Never playing it again. Should burn, die in hell. Ishii should never be allowed to make another game. Of course, there is another Mana game that was on the Vita that never came out in the States and isn't in English, which, thank God, we don't have to play it. Because I can only imagine how much worse the series is getting from here.
Yeah, that's kind of a nice mercy. I hope with this 30th anniversary thing, they don't feel the need to bring that shit out.
Yeah.
Because I'm kind of done with Mana, you know what I mean? I'm really fucking tired of Mana games. Like I got
we are done with Mana.
Technically, yeah.
For now.
I got so pissed off at Mana at the end that I was like, man, this might go down below like fucking Crystal Chronicles on our like list rankings of series in there. I don't think it actually is, but it's getting fucking close.
Well, let's put a pin in that while you go through your list.
So my list of Mana games, easily the best Mana game in the entire series, Trials of Mana. It's the culmination of everything that the first 2 brought with like peak combat, peak user interface.
It was also
quality of
AAA.
life
They
stuff.
were like putting in resources into that game.
Yeah. It's everything about the first 2 just perfected pretty much. Second best one is Secret of Mana. It's super classic, great soundtrack, pretty good gameplay, a little bit clunky. Third is easily Final Fantasy Adventure. It's like I said, like Joe said, it's an easy Zelda game. It is kind of a Zelda clone, and the other ones are, you know, the second and the third one kind of move away from that a little bit.
Yeah, they're advancements
way more
on their
action-y.
Zelda clone.
Yeah. They took the things that were different from Zelda from the first one, and they kind of just moved in that direction instead. Yeah. So easily number 3, and this is where the quality drop truly happens in these fucking games. Like those 3 are pretty good. The fourth Mana game, I would put...
Last time I think you put Legend there.
Yeah, easily Legend, yeah.
Okay.
I think Legend's okay. I think it's a fun world to explore. I really like the idea of the game. I just wish there were more to it. I wish that the story was a little bit better. I wish that I could have even run into some of the other main storylines, because I only found the one. I like the idea for the game, but I don't think the execution was very well done in Legend of Mana.
What a legendary crafting system.
Yeah, and the crafting system is just impossible to fucking navigate. So that one's number 4. I think honestly last time I put the fucking PS2 one. I don't know why, but I put it above Children of Mana. I think it was because Children of Mana is just kind of boring, but I'll keep it, I guess. I don't see, that's the thing. I don't even give a shit about the bottom 3. They're just so fucking bad, and I don't ever want to play them again that it doesn't even matter. So I'm going to do that again. I'll just go Dawn. Jesus Christ. Dawn of Mana as the 5th Mana game. Ass game, terrible gameplay, really weird. These games just get weird. After after the first 3, like starting at Legend, they just become really bizarre and like they're very different from the previous one, and then the next one. They're just like it's like Ishii's just getting his creative rocks off. Every idea he's ever had, he's just like pumping it out. Like, you want World of Mana? I'll fucking give you World of Mana. Every shit idea that I didn't go with in the beginning, they're coming. So that one, and then Children of Mana, very boring. It was fun playing with you the last like 4 levels or whatever. But other than that, just a very boring, like, rinse and repeat kind of a game.
Yeah.
And then easily down at the very bottom, the true depths, the bowels of hell itself. Fucking Heroes of Mana. This game sucks, man. This is so bad. The story's boring. The fucking gameplay is just impossibly bad. Like, you can't even if you're at home right now or wherever you are listening to this and you think you can conceive of how bad this is, you can't. You have to play it. It is like, it's just unworldly. It's unholy, and it's like terribleness. You just can't believe it. Like, you just can't fucking believe how bad this thing is programmed. Easily the worst game in the series. Easily the worst game for this podcast thus far. And I would be amazed. I would be fucking amazed if anything that we play going forward even comes close to this shit. I can't imagine what it would be. I really can't. Air Gaze, I guess the fucking dungeon mode might be that bad. But
I've heard tale of Air Gaze. It
was weird and brutal. That's all I remember. I remember hotel prices like Final Fantasy II, and that's it. But that's not enough to make it worse than this. And I remember no one knowing what the fuck to do in that game either. Like, I remember nothing online.
Are you ready for the other? Okay, let's quickly go. Crystal Chronicles versus Mana.
Yeah.
As far as like FF spin-offs, one much more closer to FF than the other. What series is worse? Now, here's the thing. Here's what I think. 3 of the games in the Mana series are better than anything in the Crystal Chronicles series, in my opinion. FF Adventure gets close, where it's like kind of neck and neck with maybe Echoes of Time non-Wii port version.
Yeah. Very, very specific version.
Yes. Wii port is the worst port of any game ever. However, outside of Crystal Bearers being real low down there, the other Mana games, I would play any Crystal Chronicle game over the other, like 4 games.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's kind of a wash to me. I guess Crystal Chronicles, because it's like its C+ average is is keeping it where it doesn't fail the class.
Yeah, I would say Crystal Chronicles is probably better. I think that was just a hateful, especially hateful moment that I thought where I was like, you know what? Fuck this series. It's worse. It's worse. But the highs are way too high to put it down there. I would rather play My Life As games than possibly 4 of the Mana games. I don't know. Maybe just 3. Or no. What is there, 7?
I like the My Life As Blade
I do
games,
too. Yeah, those are good. I actually almost would rather play them than all but 2 of the Mana games if I had a choice.
There you go.
Which is kind of sad. But
I think the second worst Crystal Chronicle game, or maybe the worst, is the original Crystal Chronicles, which is the really popular one, which drives me nuts.
Yeah.
That's the one that everybody's like, oh, it's great. No, it's not.
Yeah, it's really not.
It's really not. I didn't hear a bunch of people go into the Discord being like, "Ooh, I replayed Crystal Chronicles, and I got to tell you guys were wrong." Did not see that discussion. There's one follower of ours who keeps on like hammering on.
And a remaster came out, and still no words.
That's what I'm talking about. I haven't heard like, "Ooh, I bought the remaster. Wasn't it great?" No, they probably bought it, played it for 5 seconds, put the fuck down.
Yep, we got that nostalgia donkey punch.
Yeah.
Wasn't quite what they were expecting.
What a very strange way of putting it. Okay.
Yeah.
So the next section of the podcast, the next season of the podcast, is Final Fantasy Cameos Part 1. That's how it's listed on our list. Now, we did find a new game that we had to put on here a couple weeks ago. But these are basically characters and creatures that show up in games in their original forms. So not just references, nor in-game events or DLC. So they have to come in the original game, not as like a character you can download for some weird, bizarre Square Enix title that had that as an option, which I know some of them did.
Yeah.
So there are Final Fantasy characters or creatures that show up in the following games, and this is out of order slightly. I think I'll go in the right order now. So our first game is going to be Secrets of Evermore. Oddly strange. There's a fucking fly in this room and it's driving me nuts. Oddly, strangely close to Secret of Mana in its title, but it's Secrets, I believe, of Evermore, even though on our list it's singular and not plural. Secrets of Evermore is next. I have my Retron dude at my trailer right now, and I'm gonna set that baby up. I got the cartridge. I ordered it on eBay, and I'm ready to play an old school Square RPG. Who the fuck isn't ready for that? Come on. There are no new updated versions or ports for that game. That's what's crazy, though.
Yeah.
You have to get it in the cartridge form, or I guess emulate it if you're one of those. So, yeah, got that ready to go. The next one on the list, which I have heard tell maybe where we're going to have some trouble on this podcast, because we've had one person who's played it and said it's impossible, basically, and has made that very clear. That's Air Gaze, God Bless the Ring.
Yeah.
That's after that. There are some movies, most of which we've touched upon before. We got to somehow like slice in a conversation about Ready Player One. Because we've talked about Robot Chicken, Final Fantasy Burger Chain. We talked about that on an earlier episode. Charlie's Angels, that scene in an earlier episode. Ready Player One has a chocobo in it. So we got to talk about that scene at some point in this fucking podcast. I don't know when that's going to happen. Maybe in a guest episode. And then we have Mario Hoops 3-on-3, which was, of course, the revelation a couple weeks ago when you found a fucking list, and that list Wikipedia had not been updated with the Mario 3-on-3 shit with Final Fantasy stuff. So we now have Mario Hoops 3-on-3 on our list. And the last one I'm pretty excited for, kind of. Hold on. Am I excited for it? Am I not? I don't know. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate has Cloud in it, and it's not DLC. So we are playing Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
Yeah, I already bought it.
So
I think. I can't remember if I bought it. It's been too long.
Gonna get ready for that shit. So,
yeah, man. This is phase 1 of the cameos
so
section.
The other cameos, the next cameo section is the Chocobo series.
Yeah.
Which I am not looking forward to, considering the last Chocobo game we played here. Chocobo's Dungeon.
Not good, yeah.
Not good. But we will have, there's 3 Chocobo games after that. One of the Chocobo games never came to the States, so that's nice. We're missing one. And then the last Final Fantasy cameo section will be the Kingdom Hearts series, the entire series.
Yeah, that's going to take a while.
It will, but I am so excited to dive into Kingdom Hearts. Especially 1, 2, and 3. I've heard some people love 3, some people hate it, but I'm still excited to play it. It's a game I've wanted to play. And then we'll go into Final Fantasy games that never were and their sequels, and that'll be it for the podcast. But we did finally finish Mana. It only took us 12 years.
Yeah.
So we'll finish this by the time we're in our 70s, for sure.
Super excited.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Secrets of Evermore. Oh, but we are going to play that Yuffie DLC.
Yeah, we're going to review that next.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, and we will have Final Fantasy 14 expansions. So, guys, it's not going to be in that order specifically, but those are the next games on the list. That's it for me. You got anything else, Schweiss?
No, yeah, fuck this game. I kind of want people to play it so they understand what we're talking about, but Because I feel like sometimes it seems like we're going ham. And really, like, I've had the time to just calm, and my nerves have been calm. My hate has been calmed on this game, but, like, it still rushes up like the bile in my stomach on a, super acidic day or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like, it's still there. It's still there. The hate's there. The pain's there. The misery. It's all there. So this game is bad.
Nope.
Bad.
Stay tuned after the ending song here for Nude Clan.
Yeah, a little taste of the clan.
We're gonna have a Nude Clan section where we talked about what we've been playing, and we had a long tirade about this same game. A lot of overlap, but for you guys who are like holding out on Nude Clan, you get a taste here. So check it out. We will see you guys next time we see you.
Yeah. Enjoy the grind.
Final Fantasy is a podcast created by Geekdom Entertainment and is executive produced by Joseph DeGollier, Caleb Schweiss, Caleb Craig, and Cameron Wilson. To find out more, go to geekdomentertainment.com.
We were driving and like we got to like the end where it's like the ship, and I was like, what happened with all the platforms falling out? Like, that's what I was worried about. And then I'm like, oh, different game.
Well.
Oh, and then I'll save it for the review.
Okay.
So those ones, and then I played a decent chunk of Heroes of Mana. I have 1.5 levels left. I'm making slow progress on the second to last mission. I want the game done because I don't like the game.
I want the game done.
And I sent Joe a video.
You did
yesterday.
It's too bad we can't stream this thing so that we have evidence.
It's you saw what happened. Like I tell the little gatherer unit to go gather like his job, and I click on the little unit, and then I click on the little fucking dumbass treant bush with that stupid fucking face on it. And he goes over, he grabs the berry, he goes back. And then the second time, he goes past the bush into the enemy encampment, and the enemies are like a smell, like if you ever like leave something and then like you break the surface of it and the scent is released again. That's how the enemies in this game are. Like they're dormant until awoken, and then they know you're there and they know exactly where you are and they will come for you. And so this dumb prick gatherer unit just like goes right past the bush, goes the scenic route, and by scenic I mean they miss the exit by 30 exits, and then goes around, gets all the bad guys, like stirs the pot. The bad guys are like, oh yeah, that's right, we're in a video game. And then they suddenly throw themselves at me repeatedly, and the little dumbass gets killed. And then from now on, the units will just slowly make their way to me and attack me. So now I'm like, okay. And the whole point of this, so I was trying to not fucking activate the enemies, because this game is so stupid that like if you don't fuck with anyone, no one's gonna fuck with you. Like they don't know that you're there until you reveal yourself. It's weird.
Really?
Yeah. And like in this stupid prick every time, and like I forget because I'm like, okay, let's move, let's build this base unit, and then I look, and then it's like I see him getting close to the enemies, and I'm like, I try to stop him, and he takes like 4 seconds to like, huh? And then he turns around, and then the enemies chase him, and then it's fucking game on. I hate it, dude. And like the path, like if there's one thing in your way, they're like, I guess I'll just have to walk around the whole world to get where I was going. It's like I can't get to the spot one step in front of me, so I'm going to turn around and go the opposite way until I come all the way around the globe back to the spot that was one step in front of me, and I'm like, hey, look, I made it where you wanted me to make it. And then, there's a little button for, you want to select all of these unit types? Yes. Do you want to move them all to this one little square? Not necessarily. Too bad. They're going to keep milling around like idiots until they all can stand in that one square, which they can't. And so they'll just fucking go everywhere, not being able to go do the exact thing you wanted them to do. So you got to micromanage these little pricks and put them into like their own little square, or else they'll run into each other. And God forbid they run into each other, because then they'll go all the way across the map to do the thing that you asked them to do. It is maddening. And like, you got to micromanage these retards the whole time. And like, your main guy, if he dies, it's game over. And he just like, if I don't know what it is about this guy, but if he can't get to where he's going, his first move is just go around the world. And he's just like, I'm like, where's the main character? And I'm like, oh, there he is. He's in the middle of 7 guys that are gang raping him right now. And they're like, oh, great, game over. There's an hour. There's an hour gone. So I'm playing that game. It's pretty maddening. And now that I've discovered the fact that I can save at any time during the missions, now it's like I got to look at my losses and like decide if it's worth like, well, I only lost 2 of the main people. Is it really worth
Figure there's usually
starting
like
over?
a midpoint in every map where they're like, the bad guys show up.
Yeah.
That's when I save. And I'm like, okay, well, this is a new situation.
Yeah, the game's like got the gotcha, pull the rug out from under you every time. It's like,
Every level.
here's your objective. Oh, more backup units. Oh, they're everywhere. Oh, they're raping you. What are you going to do? It's like a surprise every time. It's a surprise fuck every fucking level. I hate it, dude. Surprise fuck. It's such a dick game. And the programming is so bad. Like, it's so bad.
No.
It's so poor.
This time in Ultimate Final Fantasy.
I even did it with it. Like, there was a mission where I discovered that there was like a rock thing across the ocean, and so I was like, oh, okay, I'll just get the flying guys so I can avoid activating the enemies, because when you activate them, like I said, they just start fucking coming. And so I had a path. It was a direct path, point A to point B, as the fucking bat creature flies. And instead of going straight, for no reason, nothing was in his way. Nothing was in his way. I used to think it was just when like they encountered something and they're like, oh, now I've got to do the fuck off path. No, this guy did it with nothing in the way. It's a straight path, straight shot for the fucking rock to the base. And he goes up, and then instead of continuing going straight, he goes left by like 30 fucking spots and then goes up into the enemy base, checks it out, and then goes to the rock, and then the enemies descend on me from every corner of the world. It's God. It's like Frodo putting the fucking, or Bilbo putting the fucking ring on in Lord of the Rings, and then the rays are just like, whoosh, and they know where he's at. It's just like that, and then they fucking won't leave you alone.
You were right the first time. It was Frodo.
Yeah.
Fellowship.
Yeah, dude, it's fucking God. It's bad.
Yeah, I was at my uncle's place this 4th of July weekend, and I brought my DS to play this game. And I'm on chapter 18, I think.
Okay.
And so I was only like 1-2 levels behind you just a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And so I decided, that's what I was going to do at night when I had some free time. Now, there wasn't that much free time because there was a bunch of family stuff. And we were all chock full of things to do for the 4th of July weekend, basically. My uncle made it, was a good host. And but there was one night when I went back into where I was staying, and I picked up the DS, and I thought about it real hard. I sat there, I looked at it for a long time, and then I went and grabbed the solitaire video game computer that was on my uncle's shelf, which had a battery in it, and I went ahead and played solitaire until 1 a.m.
Wow.
Instead.
Did it have the point system where like you lose points if you go through the deck without?
It was the
Nice.
Vegas. It was the Vegas system, so you can only go through one time.
Oh, nice.
Total,
That's the best
and you
one.
had like a score, and you were trying to raise your score past where you started at. Yeah, which I ended up getting because my uncle was like, I don't play that thing, take it home. So I played 5-6 hours of solitaire instead of playing instead of playing Heroes of Mana, because Heroes of Mana, bottom 3 worst games we've ever played for UFF, bottom 10 at least, probably bottom 6
Ever.
that I've ever played
Out of the 6 games you
without
have played.
putting it the fuck down.
Yeah, because back in the day, you would just, when we didn't have
Yeah.
to review it, I'd just be like, yeah, I'm not going to play that.
Back when we didn't have video game podcasts, you could just pick up a game, start playing it, realize you don't like it, and not continue playing it. You could just play something else. Like, I don't know. I used to have that Rain of Fire game on GameCube, which is
it's trash.
dog shit.